Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video, we're going to learn how to create Flowlu contact on Typeform submission. So I am an owner of a business and using Typeform, I have created a form with the help of which I collect my leads data and I use Flowlu as a CRM application in my business to manage my leads. Here what I want is that as soon as many of the potential customers or clients, a new form submission is going to be done using Typeform and a new lead is going to be generated. I want to create that lead as a contact in my Flowlu account. Now creating these contacts manually after the new form submission is done is very time consuming. So what I've done is I've simply automated this entire process with the help of Pabbly Connect, which is an amazing automation and integration software. And here in this automation, I'm going to build a connection between Typeform and Flowlu with the help of it. So if you also want to learn about this amazing automation process step by step, for that let me take you to my screen.
In this video, we're going to learn how to create Flowlu contact on Typeform submission. So as an owner of a business, I use Typeform to collect my leads data through Contact Us form. And I use Flowlu to manage my leads, ensuring smooth follow-ups and organized customers' interaction. To streamline my workflow, I've automated this entire process of creating Flowlu contact whenever a new form submission is received through Typeform. This ensures that every lead is instantly recorded in my CRM, allowing me to nurture them efficiently without any manual efforts. And we are going to create this amazing automation between Typeform and Flowlu with the help of Pabbly Connect. So on the screen, you can see the website of Pabbly Connect, that is pabbly.com/connect. After browsing this website, we need to sign into our Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. So as I'm an existing user, I'm going to sign into my Pabbly Connect account. After signing in, you can see the all Pabbly apps in front of you, in which you can see all the products that Pabbly provides. From which we are going to select Pabbly Connect by clicking on this Access Now button right here. Then Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear in front of you. In order to start an automation process in Pabbly Connect, we need to create a workflow. For that, click on the top right corner button right here that says Create Workflow. A dialog box is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for the workflow name and for us to select a folder. So for the name of my workflow over here, I'm going to give it as Create Flowlu Contact on Typeform Submission. So this is the name that I want to give to my workflow. After that, it is asking for us to select a folder. So on the left side of my screen, you can see I have created multiple folders in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. For that, click on this drop down. These are the folders from which I'm going to select Typeform Automations as the folder I want to save this workflow in. After giving the name to the workflow and selecting the folder, I'm going to click on this Create button in order to create a workflow. A workflow is created in the name of Create Flowlu Contact on Typeform Submissions, and you can see that there are two windows in front of you. One says Trigger, other says Action. So what is Trigger and Action? Trigger and action are the two most important steps of our automation process because our process depends on these two principles. Over here, trigger says when this happens and action says do this. That means what is action? Action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be one trigger step but multiple action steps. We are going to set up our trigger step first. And for the trigger application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as Typeform. As with the help of Typeform, I have created a form with the help of which I am collecting my leads data. I want that as soon as when the lead, a new form submission is going to be done using Typeform, automatically the trigger over here should capture the response of that. And that is why for my trigger application, I've selected it as Typeform. And for the trigger event, I'm going to select as new entry. After selecting the trigger application and the event, I'm going to click on this connect button right here. A window is going to appear in front of you, on which click on add new connection, or else you can select the existing connection that you have. After that, click on connect with Typeform. A window is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for a permission. So I'm going to click on this accept button. As this is a C process, my data is perfectly saved with Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to click on this accept button right here. As I've done that, you can see I've successfully authorized Typeform to Pabbly Connect. After authorizing it, is asking for us to select a form. So in my Typeform account, if I'm going to go back to the workspace, you can see I've created multiple forms in my Typeform account. And I want that whenever a form submission is going to be done for this form in the name of Contact Us form, then only the response of the form submission should be captured over here in my trigger. So in order to do that, you have to select the specific form. From the drop down, select the form that you want to capture the response of. After selecting the form, click on the Save and Send Test Request button right here.
As you go to do that, it says waiting for response. So now to check whether Typeform is successfully connected to Pabbly Connect or not, what we are going to do is we are going to do the test form submission of this form that we have created. And after doing the test submission, we are going to check whether Pabbly Connect captures the response of the test form submission being done or not. For doing the test submission, this is the form that I've created. From this label over here, I'm going to go to the share option right here. After coming to share, this is the link. I'm going to copy it from here and open this link in a new tab right over here. So this is the form that I've created. Let us do the form submission. Firstly, for the first name over here, I'm going to write it as new. For the last name over here, I'm going to write it as lead. For the phone number over here, I'm going to enter a dummy mobile number right here. Over here for the email, I'm going to write it as newlead@pabblytudes.com. And for the company name over here, I'm going to write it as XYZ company. I'm going to click on this OK button. It is asking for address details. Firstly, for the address over here, I'm going to write it as 123 Newtown. For the city over here, I'm going to write it as Bhopal. For the state over here, I'm going to write it as Madhya Pradesh. For the zip code over here, I'm going to enter a dummy zip code right here. For the country over here, I'm going to select it as India. And then I'm going to click on the submit button to the test submission. It says thank you for reaching out. As now the form submission is done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my workflow and scroll down. And yes, you can see over here the response of the form submission has been captured in our trigger. If you're going to tally the response, the name of the form is contact us form. The country comes over here as India. This is the dummy postal code. State as Madhya Pradesh. City as Bhopal. Over here for the address as 123 Newtown. Company as XYZ company. Email over here as newlead@pabblytudes.com with the dummy mobile number. Last name as lead. First name as new with all the other details. As now the response of the form submission has been captured in our trigger, this means that Typeform has now been successfully connected to Pabbly Connect and our trigger setup is done. As now our trigger setup is done, I want to create this lead as a contact in my Flowlu account now. Now for that, we're going to set up our action step. And for the action application over here, I'm going to select it as Flowlu. And for the action event, I'm going to select it as create CRM account contact. Then click on this connect button. A window is going to appear in front of you, on which click on add new connection, or else you can select the existing connection that you have. After that, it is asking for the API key and the account URL. For the account URL, log into your Flowlu account. So this is my Flowlu account. In this URL over here, this HTTPS, the name and .flowlu.com is the URL. So I'm going to copy it from here and paste this account URL right over here. Remove the hash from the end. After that, it is asking for the API key. To have the API key, follow the steps given here below in the help desk. Log into your Flowlu account again. After logging into your Flowlu account, go to the profile button and from the drop down, go to the portal settings option right here. After coming to portal settings, from the left side of the panel, go to the API settings over here. After landing towards the API settings, click on this add button on the top right corner. For the name of the key, give over here as new key 01. For this application, I'm going to select it as CRM and click on this save button. You can see a key in the name of new key 01 is created. I'm going to copy this key from here. This is the API token and paste it right over here and click on this save button. As I've done that, you can see over here the connection between Flowlu and Pabbly Connect is successfully done. It is asking for the title ID over here. I do not have the title ID in the response. So I'm going to toggle this map button on and remove the existing data from here. Okay. After that, over here it is asking for all these details of the contact that we are creating. Now for the data of these fields, what we are going to do is we are going to map the data. Mapping means inserting data from the previous step. So we're going to insert the data from the previous step of this workflow. And how it works is that as soon as I'm going to click on it, this was the previous step. And as I'm going to click on it, this is the same response that was captured in our previous step. In this, I've received the leads data and I want to create this lead as a contact in my Flowlu account. So for the data of this field, I'm going to select the data from this response that I've received in my previous step. It is asking for my contact's first name. I've received the name of my lead over here. I want to create this team lead as a contact. So I'm going to select the data of the lead from my previous response. As I've selected data from my previous response, the data is mapped. And as I have mapped the data has now become dynamic. That means now whenever a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the new data is going to be updated in place of this map data. Similarly, for the last name over here, I'm going to map the data of the last name that I've received. It is asking for the email address. For the email address over here, I'm going to map the data of the email address that I've received right here. I'm going to map it. For the description over here, I'm going to enter the company name. So I'm going to enter over here as company name, and in place of the company name and description, I'm going to map the data of the company name that I've received right here. Okay.
Next it is asking for the category. It's a qualified lead, so I'm going to select the category as qualified lead. Okay, industry, I don't have the industry, so I'm going to toggle this map button on and erase the existing data from this field right here. Okay, so I'm going to leave this industry field blank. That is why I have toggled the button. Okay, next it is asking for the address, so I'm going to map the data of the address from my previous response. For the phone number, I'm going to map the data of the phone number that I've received from here. I'm going to search for the phone number. I'm going to map the data. It is asking for the phone number for 2 and 3. I do not have this part, so I'm going to skip it. It is asking for all these details, so I'm going to skip the part. Okay, if I'm going to scroll down over here, it is asking for the shipping country. So for the country over here, I've received the country as India, so I'm going to map the data of the country right over here. For the owner ID, select the assignee a user ID right over here. Okay, for the state over here, I'm going to select the state that I've received, that is Madhya Pradesh right here. It is asking for the city, so for the city over here, I'm going to map the data of the city that I've received. For the zip code over here, I'm going to map the data of the zip code that I've received right here. It is asking for the shipping line address, so I'm going to map the data of the address right over here. This is the data, I'm going to map it. Okay, it is asking for the billing country. I'm going to similarly map the data for the billing over here as well. So this is the data. State, I'm going to map the data of the state right over here. I'm going to map the data. Next, it is asking for the city. So for the city over here, I'm going to map the data of the city. For the zip code over here, I'm going to again map the data of the zip code that I've received right here. So this is the data, I'm going to map it. After that, it is asking for the address. So I'm going to map the data of the address right over here. Okay, I'm going to search for it. I'm going to map the data. Next, it is asking for these details, which I'm going to skip as I do not require. So I'm going to click on the Save and Send Test Request button after filling all the required details. We have received the ID, which is a positive response. So now I'm going to open my Flowlu account. So now I'm going to open my Flowlu account, and yes, you can see in my Flowlu account a new contact has been created. Let us tally the response of the contact that is created. The name is new lead, email is newlead@pabblytudes.com with a dummy mobile number. If I'm going to further tally all the details in this other right over here, you can see first name comes as new, last name as lead. Over here, this is the full name, new lead. Address is 123 New Town, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, India with a dummy postal code. This is shipping address, this is a billing address right here, and with all the other details. As now the contact is successfully created in my Flowlu account, this means that we have successfully created an automation between Typeform and Flowlu with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now to sum up till now what we have done, I am an owner of a business, and using Typeform, I have created a form with the help of which I collect my leads data, and using Flowlu, I manage the leads data as this is my CRM application. In the trigger over here in this workflow, I've selected as Typeform new entry, as whenever by the lead a new form submission is going to be done using Typeform, automatically the trigger is going to capture the response of the leads details. And using the leads details, a contact is automatically created in my Flowlu account using this action step, in which for the action application, I have selected it as Flowlu and action event as create CRM contact. And I have created a connection between Typeform and Flowlu with Pabbly Connect in this manner. So this was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.
Not just with these applications, you can create automation between multiple other applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. If you have any questions, you can contact us on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can check the queries on forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, then you can check out this link. If you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment on if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video.